The night Dodger Stadium forgot baseball and remembered history. Los Angeles never sleeps. The city is used to cheers, camera flashes, and history being written every night. But yesterday, inside Dodger Stadium, history wasn't just written. It exploded, set the sky on fire, and shook the world. No teaser. No promotion. No press release. Just one simple thing, a giant screen that suddenly turned black. Silent. Dark. Wordless. Signless. But Army knew. They always knew. For the world it might have been just an empty screen. But for them it wasn't emptiness, it was a calling. And when the names Jungkook and Taehyung whispered through the air, that emptiness became everything. Twitter crashed. Instagram lagged. TikTok burned. The internet no longer functioned as communication, it became an altar. An altar for two names, Jungkook. Taehyung. Then the first spark. Jungkook stepped onto the stage. No flashy set. No choreography. No mask. Just him, a microphone, and the fire blazing in his eyes. His voice cracked, but every word shot through like lightning in a storm. "I've been silent for too long," he said, trembling but unshaken. "Tonight I speak. And it begins with Taehyung." The stadium froze. Time stopped. Millions of fan theories built over years, thousands of whispered secrets in late-night chats, countless what-ifs left unanswered, all collided in that one sentence. And Jungkook did not stop. "He saved me. When the world forced me to be perfect, Taehyung reminded me that I am human. That I exist." The cheers turned into tears. Fans slumped in their seats, covering their faces, clutching their chests. This wasn't fanfiction. This wasn't an edit. This was truth, raw, open, undeniable. Then the cameras caught him. Taehyung. He didn't speak. He didn't explain. He didn't defend. Only a faint smile and a hand slowly lifted toward Jungkook. A small gesture, but heavy as 1,000 confessions. As if that wasn't enough, another voice shook the air. "RM. The leader. I always knew. Not everything. But enough. What they have isn't fake. It isn't scripted. We can't pretend anymore." And then the line that shattered the world. "Maybe we've worn masks for too long. But Jungkook and Taehyung, they're just brave enough to take theirs off first." Twitter ignited. Hashtags exploded, hashtag Taekook truth, hashtag Jungkook spoke, hashtag we always knew. This wasn't just trending. It was domination. Like thunder following lightning, J-Hope fanned the flames. His Instagram filled with never-before-seen photos of Jungkook and Taehyung together. His caption was simple but piercing. "Some truths were always there. You just refused to see them." The stadium nearly collapsed. The world held its breath. Then Jean joined in. With one OT7 photo. 7 smiling faces. A short caption but enough to shake the earth. "We always knew." And finally the last fortress fell. HYBE, known for its iron grip, chose a side. One black square. One sentence. BTS stands for truth, connection, and growth. We fully support our artists. This wasn't just approval. This was revolution. That night, Dodger Stadium was no longer a baseball field. It became a battlefield. Jungkook was no longer just an idol. Taehyung was no longer just silent. That night, they became symbols. "I'm not your poster boy anymore," Jungkook said, his eyes blazing. "I'm something else. Something real." And Taehyung? He didn't speak. He didn't have to. His silence was louder than thousands of screams. His smile was a confession. His gaze was poetry. His silence was revolution. Los Angeles was never the same after the stadium lights dimmed. The air shifted. The streets whispered. Everyone who walked out carried a small fire in their chest. A storm that could not be extinguished. The next morning, the world didn't wake to gossip, but to history. International headlines read. Jungkook spoke. Taehyung answered. BTS changed everything. And in the middle of that storm, Jungkook disappeared. 3 days without a trace. No live. No posts. No signs. Until a blurry video surfaced on the internet. An empty street. Midnight. A man in a hoodie. A car waiting. The camera caught his face just before the door closed. Jungkook. And beside him, Taehyung. Only a few seconds. But the world exploded. Hashtag Dodger Aftermath, hashtag Taekook Together, hashtag This Is Real dominated every platform. It was no longer just rumor. No longer just theory. It was real. It was visible. It was caught on camera. And the world understood, Dodger Stadium was not the end. It was a door. A door to a truth that could no longer be caged. That night, Jungkook didn't just speak. Taehyung didn't just stay silent. They didn't just appear. They rewrote history. With voice. With smiles. With silence. And for the first time, the world truly listened. After Dodger, the silence, the shadows, the storm. Los Angeles grew quiet again. The stadium was empty. The lights were out. But the echoes of that night had not faded. They lingered in the air, reverberating through every phone screen, breathing in every heart that had witnessed it. Yet, like every great storm, after the thunder comes silence. And in that silence, Jungkook disappeared. 3 days without a voice. 3 days without a sign. 3 days the world waited for his breath to return. Fans tracked airports, studios, even combed through the streets of LA. But nothing surfaced, as if that night had swallowed him whole. Until one video shook everything. A blurry clip, filmed by trembling hands. Midnight. An empty street. A man in a black hoodie walking quickly. The camera wavered, but it was clear enough. Jungkook. But he was not alone. Beside him, Taehyung. The car door opened. Both of them entered. And in the 1 second before it closed, the world saw what they had only ever imagined, two silhouettes side by side, choosing to walk in the same direction. The video was short, but its impact was immeasurable. New hashtags ignited the world. Hashtag After Dodger, hashtag Taekook Together, hashtag This Is Real. Dark nights, burning whispers. Meanwhile, the world's media roared to life. CNN, BBC, and Korean newspapers battled over the narrative. Was this love? Was it friendship? Was it betrayal of the idol image? HYBE's investors panicked. Stocks trembled. Emergency meetings erupted in Seoul, CEOs, directors, lawyers. But outside, the voices of fans were louder than the voices of the market. They didn't care about numbers. They cared about truth. Let them be free. Let them breathe. Let them exist. And for the first time, HYBE seemed shaken. They no longer spoke of controlling the narrative. They could only watch the screen as two names, Jungkook and Taehyung, took over the world without promotion, without strategy, without permission. RM, the leader who knew too much. In a brief live, RM finally spoke again. No music. No filters. Just his tired face and sharp eyes. That night, many saw a confession. I saw courage. The world might not be ready, but they don't care. And honestly, I'm proud of them. Army cried. His words weren't just support. They were acknowledgement. He did not resist. He did not deny. He stood behind them, raising their hands higher. 2 roads, 1 door. But the world is not always kind. Rumors spread. Shadowy hands whispered stories, contracts at risk, ad deals cancelled, uneasy sponsors. On the other hand, new offers flooded in. Hollywood called. Netflix waited. Global brands saw a golden opportunity. Taekook was no longer just fandom whispers. They were an entertainment revolution. And in the middle of the storm, Jungkook remained silent. Taehyung remained quiet. 2 shadows walking together while the world debated around them. The whisper before the fire. Then came a leak from an insider, a staff member who couldn't hold their tongue. They're not hiding. They're planning something. Bigger than anything you've ever imagined. Dodger Stadium wasn't the end. It was only the prologue. Fans trembled reading those words. Would it be a documentary? A hidden song? Or something wilder still, a joint confession, unscripted, unfiltered? The calm before the next thunder. 1 week after Dodger Stadium, a massive billboard lit up in Times Square. Jungkook's face appeared. Then it shifted to Taehyung's. Then the screen went black. No logos. No sponsors. No explanations. Just one sentence, white against black. The truth is coming. New York stopped. The world stopped. The internet exploded. And Army knew. The second storm was being prepared. If Dodger Stadium was the first lightning strike, then what was coming next was the thunder that would split the sky. Jungkook had spoken. Taehyung had answered in silence. But the world could feel they were not finished. Because history is not written once. It comes in chapters. And the next chapter is knocking at the door. And just like that, the moment at Dodger Stadium became an unexpected stage that completely changed how we see Jungkook and Taehyung. No script, no scenario, only glances, smiles, and a silence louder than the roar of thousands. The world may keep asking, what does this truly mean?